Hello again. So today is another video that showcases Lynda's crafting. So she's made this sample, which I'm going to make another one of today using elements that she has provided for me. So as you can see, coloured strips, a hexagon cutout and some embellishments. So I'm going to pop this to the side and I'm going to show you what she's provided with me and we'll make it together. So I've got a card blank. And inside the card blank is what she's provided me with. So this card blank is 5.5 by 7.25 inches. So I'm going to set that to the side. We've got some embellishments. This time are hot air balloons. So those have been coloured using alcohol markers. And using the same colours, she's cut some strips. So this is a die that she has, which cuts sort of a ribbon effect onto it. So she's cut 5 of those and she's coloured them in the same colour alcohol markers as the balloons. The plan is to line these up down the side, the same as on her sample. We're going to line these up on the side and then we're going to cut it out, spin it, and then you'll see. So I've also got a hexagon die, which is from my stash. It's a nesting set of hexagons, and that's 3 3/4 along that edge, and on the pointy edge it's 4 1/4. So we'll use that to cut out in a moment. So the first job is to take the front panel and line the colours up and stick them down. So I'm going to use a balloon for reference. So she's got the lightest blue, which I can see is this one. And then she's got the dark blue, the grey, the dark green and the light green. Okay, so I want this to start about 3/4 of an inch in. So I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch and mark with pencil. Because these strips go the full length, I can do this. So again, 3/4 of an inch down here. And then that gives me my placement for my first strip. So as we said before, the first strip is the light blue. So all I now need to do is, because I know these are straight, is line the edges up just on that pencil mark. And that's where our line's going to start. So I'm going to stick that down with some quick grab glue. In this instance, I'm using Bailey Arts. I've started using this recently and I like it. So I'm going to put this all along the back of here and put them, as I say, put them down there. I hope you can see I've just covered pencil mark, so you should just be able to see the pencil mark there now. I'm just going to slide that up and cover it up, and I've done exactly the same on the other side. So that is 3/4 of an inch there and 3/4 of an inch there. So that's my first panel down. Now I can apply the glue directly onto the main part of the white, because I'm going to lay these next to it completely butted up. So I'm going to pop me some glue down here. And the next colour is the dark blue down here. And I'm going to keep going in this order. So grey, the dark green and the light green. So those are stuck on. And this piece of card is 7 by 5 1/4. And that fits nicely on the front. The next thing I want to do is I want to cut the hexagon out of here. So as you can see here, she's lined the flat edge up against the edge of the first strip and then cut it out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to feel for where that meets that. So the back of these dies, I'm sure you know, have got a cutting edge which is raised. I want to go up against this edge which is also raised. So if I lay this on the side, I can, and give it a little bit of pressure, I can put it on there and it doesn't move. If I do the same this side, even with lots of pressure, it moves. I know that is where I want it. I just need to work out up and down. I'm actually quite happy with that. So that's where I'm going to put it. I'm just going to take that down, and for that I'm using some washi. I have used other things in the past, but washi is pretty good and doesn't rip the card. So again, I'm making sure that that is locked in and where I want it. I'm going to run a little bit of washi down there, and I'm also going to put some on the other side. And then I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. So one pass through the die cutting machine. We're going to mount it on the card base, and that's what we're going to do with that. So before I do that, I'm going to tidy this up and make this ready in its own right. So I'm going to get my trimmer and I'm going to cut the ends off of that. You could do it with scissors from the back, but I prefer to do it with a trimmer. So I'm using my Holtz guillotine, which has got a nice edge at the bottom. Using my finger to make sure that my card is not overhanging the edge on the cutting blade, and I'm holding it and cutting the excess off. So I'm going to do the same the other side. So say that's now going to go in there. As you can see from Lynda's, there's a sentiment here. So I'm going to stamp that onto here before I put it inside there. And this time I'm going to use some stamps that I found in my supplies that I got free off of magazine, and I'm going to use this It's Your Birthday. Happy with that? I'm going to set that aside to dry. Memento dries really quickly, but I want to get the embellishments on before I put it all together. So now we've got the front of the card. We know that the hexagon's going in there. Balloons. I think I like the idea of the balloons going up the side like that. And I'm going to probably put either some gems, coloured gems on here to match the colours, or I'm going to use some Nouveau drops, but we'll have a look. So I'm going to stick these down with some of the quick grab glue again. So those are stuck on nicely. I think I'm going to stick this onto the card blank and then put the hexagon in after. So we'll pop that on with some Collall, and then the only thing left to do, apart from stamping the sentiment, is to sit the hexagon into its slot like that. So again, I'm going to do that with some Collall. So this is now stuck on, and I've cut a piece of scrap paper, stamped Love and Best Wishes on the inside that I have on the same sheet that I use the front sentiment for. So this is effectively finished, but I want to put some gems on. So I've got a folder of gems. So this is a peel-off folder, and I just pick up gems when I'm in craft shops. This particular pack is one big long sheet that I bought from Amazon, so it was along like that. And I'm going to use the blue and the green on the front. So something a little bit different this time, in that we have hot air balloons instead of the wine and the wine glasses. And I've used gems slightly differently to how she's used them. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.